Hello and welcome to Medieval Dynasty. Well, we're into the second day of spring. It's almost coming to a close, so I'm kind of under pressure to keep an eye on Dobroniega, who's our farmer, just to make sure she gets as much of this work done on these fields finished. The idea is we're going to end up with about half a field finished with flax, so that when we get into the summer, I should be able to complete an entire field of flax, and then what we'll be able to do is sell any excess if there is any. If not, it means the season after we'll have like tons of spare flax seeds that I can sell off. In the meantime, I wanted to work on this, which is the other field, which is to plant cabbages, for example. I want to get some cabbages grown, and I want to get some onions grown, because as far as I'm aware, I can plant them in the spring. She's just busy sort of like sweeping the barn because she's got nothing to do at the minute. She actually ran out of... I think she ran out of hose. Let's just see if she's still complaining. No, she's not complaining of anything. So we've got some spare hose that I made, and I think we've got some bags that she can make use of as well. No, she can't. Right, okay. So have we got any leather in that case? So I may as well make some of them just to be on the safe side. And then she can use those to start putting any fertilizer down if there is any, and putting the seeds down as well. Because for whatever reason she wants to do something, it seems, but she can't. It's not telling me that she's missing anything, I must admit. But it looks like she is. Right, I don't need that, so I'll put that in there as well. To be honest, it's getting late anyway. Ah, right, okay, so it looks like she's on the move. So it's 5 o'clock, so the question is whether she's actually going to go and work on the field, or whether she's just going to go back home. I think it looks like she's going to work on the field. Right, okay, so we'll leave her to it. I'm going to go and check our trap. Ooh, going to need more sticks to replace that one. It's well worth keeping an eye on those traps, because you're getting experience every time you do it. I mean, you can't skin the actual rabbit, for example, but it doesn't really matter that much. We get experience if we go into technology. If we go to survival, we get survival technology. It says by setting traps there. Right, so I'll make that. At the moment I'm limited to 1, but there is a skill that you can have that allows you to create more. Right then, so that's that done. Now it is getting late, but if I go to the next chapter, which is chapter 6, what it's saying is to set up a woodshed, a workshop and a well. So this is the whole idea is, I mean, you can read it, it is kind of like a log that he's keeping, but to be honest, I don't particularly need a woodshed or a well for that matter. I mean, I'll make them just for the sake of being able to progress the quest at some point, but it's just the fact that it allows you to get more buildings, and we're almost at a limit here. I mean, I can make another 8, so when there's a bit of an incentive to get more buildings, I'll probably do that. But I do want a woodshed, because at the moment I'm the one who's having to chop the trees down to get the logs converted into firewood. So it's a case of it makes more sense to get somebody else to do that, and I can also have them building planks, converting logs into planks over a period of time. I can also collect sticks, so that's a real incentive to get a workshop, and not a workshop, a woodshed. But because I've got this spare house here, what I am going to do, what I want to do, is actually make a kitchen, because then I can also get somebody to work that kitchen, and they can then convert the raw meat over into cooked meat, and we can progress into better meals. But also I can take advantage of this myself, and I can get experience out of it and progress the production technology, because production technology I found was the one that just takes forever. It seems to be the hardest one to do. So I'd rather have, you know, as many people as I can working on these production buildings to get things moving along. I also could do with a smithy as well, again for similar reason, but I can then get them to actually produce arrows, for example, for us on a regular basis. I mean, you can actually produce arrows. We've got a hunter's lodge back there. We can actually make arrows there ourselves, but if I make a smithy, I can actually get somebody else to do that. So we can be building up arrows in the background. We won't get that many done. That's one thing about the NPCs or the villagers, is they're not that particularly quick at making things. They can only make so much at a time, whereas we seem to be able to do things much quicker. But first thing I want to do, I'll just double check, it says we need 8 logs. So I'm going to start chopping things down, and then we'll get ourselves an actual kitchen built. And then it's a case of, I think then we'll probably build another house back there, a woodshed. Although I haven't said I might build it out there, because I want a woodshed and I need somebody to occupy that. And then once we've got those, I'll start going out and looking for people to come and work on those. So I'll get working on this kitchen. Probably tomorrow by the time we've finished. But like I said, I really need to keep an eye on Dobroniega, see how far she gets in terms of the actual field, because once the season ends, that's it. You can't, plant more flax, for example. We'd have to wait until the entire next year. So I want to make sure she can finish off as much as she possibly can. Right then, so it's now the final day of spring. We're just about finished with our kitchen here, so just finish that wall off. I think I'll go outside, otherwise we'll end up with some items inside and I might end up getting stuck as a result. You can unstuck yourself if you will. There is an option, it has to be unstuck, but yeah, I'll just build it outside just to be on the safe side. So that gets our kitchen. So this is just a tier 1 kitchen. But what we've got is we've got access to an oven, so there's things like different types of breads you can make, pies, tarts. But the thing is, to do those you need to have a lot of technology points. What you can do is you can at least cook meat. So I can do that, for example. Saves me having to go to the actual camp that we've got in the house, I suppose. A little stove in there. We've also got an option for a cauldron, so this allows you to get access to all sorts of meals. It just really depends on the technology level, but these are all schemas that you've got to unlock. Now, one that I'm interested in is, go to other, there's that one there, which is the meat with gravy. So with that one, if you grow onions and then you've got this roasted meat, you can actually convert that into meat with gravy, and that's quite beneficial, I must admit. You get quite a bit of food back. So there's quite a lot of things you got in there. There's porridges and there's soups and all sorts, but for now I'll just leave it like that, because the idea is I want to hire somebody and get them to work basically just on the grill over there on that stone grate, and they'll just basically cook the meat, at least for now, until we get up and running with all of our onions. Oh, looks like the rabbit's traps actually caught another rabbit. So I want to keep servicing that regularly, just for the sake of the technology that we get for it. And speaking of which, we've got a bonus for something. So, oh yeah, because I've been building things, we've passed the 250 marker, so we can now actually build a simple house. So it's it's one step up from this. This is just a small simple house which has a double bed and a single bed, whereas the simple house has a double bed and 2 single beds, so you can have up to 4 people in a family. The actual final house you get, which is just a house, that's that one there. It's just got more room, but what you find is the morale goes up a lot better the bigger the house and the better it's looked after. So I mean, these houses they're just basic wattle. I mean, you can upgrade them with daub, for example. There's clay out there we can mine, but it's pretty expensive. For every 1 bit of daub you need like 10 clay. So it's yeah, it's pretty expensive. One option you've got instead of is you can just basically destroy these walls, rip them out and replace them with, say, like wooden walls, or better yet, go with stone walls. But anywho, we've now got our kitchen ready. There's just nobody using it. Speaking of kitchens, I need to get some. Actually, I've got some food on me here too. So we're in the last day anyway, but save that last us for the rest of the day. So one thing, if I go back over to chapter 6, I do actually want that woodshed, because that'll help us with the wood supplies. Well, I'll have somebody who's just regularly looking after that. I mean, you do have options when it comes to houses. You can actually put a man and a woman in the same house. The only trouble is, if they end up having a kid, it takes her out of the service for like 2 years. I mean, Damroger over there, as far as I'm aware, she'll only ever have one child. I don't think you can ask for a second child, so she'll be out of service for 2 years. But if you've got NPCs and you start sharing houses, you could end up with like 4 years without anybody doing anything. So you could end up with like certain jobs where there's just nobody doing the job because you just don't have anybody to do it. So it's a bit of a gamble. But so like early on, the way I'm going to play it is I'm just going to have a separate house for one person, and I'm going to do it that way. So first thing I need is a woodshed. Now we've got, I'm just thinking, we've got a hunter over there. There's no incentive to chop trees down around there, I suppose, because it'll mess things up for her. I'm not seeing any. There are trees out. Well, it's getting, if I start moving out any further in this direction, it just gets to be a bigger gap where there's not so many trees. Whereas I head in this direction here, there's a lot of trees being, well, there's a lot of trees out here basically. This is more of a forest area, so I quite like this. So I think what we'll do is we'll build our hut out here. The interesting thing is it's the actual NPC. It's kind of strange. I think it's just like animation, because I think it's as if the hut itself just generates a certain amount of resources, and you've just got that animation of the person walking to it, chopping things down, for example. So all of these buildings that we've got that are doing, you know, production of some sort, it's just the building does it. So it's kind of weird, because like even if the person's not actually there, it's still generating those resources if they were. So it's like even if they've got a long distance to travel, they'll walk there, but in the meantime the building's still producing the resources. I suppose it's easier for the devs to work on. Ooh, what was that? Is that a... oh, it's a rabbit. Right, so anyway, I need to build... go to extraction, because I want to build a woodshed. So we can do a tier 1 woodshed. So that means I need to start chopping trees down as well. So we'll get that built, but I also have to get them a house built. So I think I might build their house probably close to where I've got the one for Gertruda over there. So yeah, now that I've got my iron axe, I can chop things down a lot quicker. So I'll get this done, then I'll get a house done, and I think then what we're going to do is head over to Gostovia to try to recruit people. Well, I haven't actually quite finished building the house, but I realised I only got so far with the fields. For some strange reason, I was getting a bit puzzled, because Damroger's gone as far as she can in terms of flax. There's no more flax seeds. Same goes for the cabbages. I was getting a bit puzzled because she hasn't touched the onions. I'm sure I had some onion seeds, but it turns out I don't. So I've come back here and I've actually bought some from Edwin. But I suppose I may as well just go and get some extra cabbages while I'm at it, actually. Then we can complete that, because it's...
Hail, friend!
It's not that much to buy those. So I want 7 more cabbage seeds. Thank you very much.
Goodbye.
Now, while I'm here, I may as well go and see... who is it? Dobroniega. We'll go and see her. Assuming she's around here somewhere. Ah, there she is. She's heading over. We'll see her, and then we can get this quest finished. There you go. There's your delivery of rye. Oh, I'm not going to flirt with her. Nothing major. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't think she's up to no good. It wouldn't make sense. There's nothing in it for her. So that completes her story, but we're still carrying on with Unigost's. For that, we need to go and see Sambo. But we've got to wait for next summer before we can see Alwyn and continue his quest. In the meantime, while I'm down here, I mean, I haven't actually finished the house, but I may as well have a look and see. So Zygfryd over there could do... He doesn't, well, he's got 3 on extraction. So if I go to... Yeah, the woodshed that we've got is for extraction, so I could hire him. I just don't have anywhere for him to live yet. Now I need somebody on production. Yeah, unfortunately none of these have the levels I need. So
How can I help you? Goodbye.
Yeah, I need to just double check. Right, so he's got 3. That'll do. I mean, that's all I need is just somebody. It's useful if they've got extra skills, but for now, I mean, I'll make do with just extraction. I probably don't envisage using them for anything else.
How are you?
So, do you want to join our group? Yes, great. So you can head over there. So I've got a bit of time left. So I'm just going to do a quick check on the off chance while I'm here to see if there's anybody I can hire for the cooking. Because we've got so like an oven over there that we can use to do our cooking with. So I may as well see if I can actually put anybody to it. At least then I've actually got a house. Now, I could chance it by putting him in with either Gertruda. Well, there's only Gertruda, I suppose. But if I can find somebody here, the alternative is, well, if I don't find anybody here, the alternative is I can just put him in that other house until his house is ready. But you can't put like 2 men together or 2 women together. That's one downside for sharing houses. So she's level 2. Oh, right, so she's level 3. Oh. Yeah, again, I mean, she'll probably just, that's probably the only thing she will do, I suspect. Doesn't really matter. It's useful if they've got extra skills, but it's not essential. So I'm just double checking. So it's the kitchen, that's it. Yeah, so I'm going to hire her.
How is life treating you?
Ooh, quite well, thank you. Right, so can you join? Yes, you can. Great. So we've now got Rozalinda. So because we've got a spare house, I can put her into that. He's going to be a bit miffed because he doesn't have a house. And then I'll assign her to the kitchen as the cook. Now the trouble is I keep forgetting it. You've got to set some assignments up for these places. I like how they've actually got warnings about it now. Actually, when it comes to the woodshed, I can actually assign Zygfryd to that. Maybe just the fact that I've given him a job might cheer him up a bit. He's going to be more concerned the fact he's got no food or water. But anyway, kitchen. What can we do with the kitchen? Right. Well, for now, I'm just going to focus on roast meat. So I'll just get that maxed out. So that's all she's just going to basically do. Any meat that Gertruda creates will get converted over into roasted meat. Actually, I haven't said that. Well, I don't have any plates yet. Once we get plates, I can get her to spend a bit of time converting over our onions and our roast meat, and she'll start producing some meat with gravy. Not a great deal. It's better if we do that ourselves, to be honest. We can produce a lot more than she can, especially given the time. So let's have a look. I need something to eat because there's still a bit of time left in this day. But the plan now is I need to make a mad dash back to the village, finish off that house, so at least I've got somewhere for him to live. Because obviously if his morale drops too low, he'll just leave. Ooh. We just about made it back in time. And I managed to get the house built, and I managed to get the actual crops sown, because obviously I didn't get back in before Dobroniega had finished for the day anyway, so I just about managed to get that done. I've just got to sleep, and now it's saying, oh, there's been this bad storm, so it looks like no one's been hurt, but there's a chance that some of your buildings have been damaged. So, okay, we don't have a choice. We've got to accept the decision. Oh, right, we've got 8 buildings damaged. Oh, that's not good. Okay, so I'm going to have to do quite a bit of repair work here. But yeah, we've got all of our onions planted over there. I managed to plant the extra cabbages, so now that we're in the summer, all of these can get harvested. And we've got quite a... I think we've got about like 2 bronze sickles as well, so at least she can work on the flax over there. And the idea is we can then max the flax field out in the next season. The cabbages, I'm just going to keep them to one side to use for rot. The onions we can use for that meat with gravy, I think it was. But we've now got more people. I've got a total of 4 people employed. I mean, Zygfryd, he was not impressed by the time he got back. He was quite happily actually wandering around, I must admit, keeping an eye on the place with his torch, but at night, which is quite useful. But yeah, obviously his morale's really, really low, but at least it'll go back up now that he's got his own house. And I've managed to get him some firewood. Gertruda, she was obviously a bit miffed because of the fact, similar reason, there wasn't enough firewood at the time, but that's now going back up. Now Rozalinda, she's only just turned up, but it's a case of 6%. She's kind of like going to be stuck at that level. But interesting enough, Damrica, I mean, she's now up to level 4, which is good. And farming, for whatever reason, seems to go pretty quickly, as I think the hunting skill does as well. Those two seem to go quite well, so whether they're farming in the fields or whether they're doing animal breeding, that particular skill seems to go up very, very quickly compared to others. The production ones, not so much. It seems to be quite slow, I found. And when I've had an actual someone working in a fishing lodge, that was pretty slow compared to like the hunter, whose skill goes up quite quick. I can't remember about the extraction, but the good thing now is it means we've got all of these people employed. All of our buildings are, well, looks like they're all damaged mostly, but at least they're all occupied. We've got somebody to do the work now. I mean, I've still got room for another 5 buildings. I mean, according to the chapter 6, it wants for us to progress any further, it wants us to build a well and a workshop. At this stage, I'm not too fussed about getting those. But what I would be interested in, actually, if I go into the crafting wheel, I mean, what I'm thinking is more of, I could definitely do with a smithy. We're not at the point where we can do a sewing hut, but I can definitely do with a smithy. If we look for hunting, we're not ready to actually get a fishing hut, but that's definitely useful. Get a lot of good fish meat, and that's got more food out of that than you'll get out of the meat that the hunter gets, for example. We're a good way out of getting an excavation shed, but we can build a herbalist, so I definitely want to start thinking about those. So I think probably in the next episode, that's when I might start focusing on things like the herbalist and the smithy. So that's another 4 buildings, 2 houses, plus the 2 actual buildings themselves. So I mean, they're probably going to end up down here, because the ones I'm putting out there, well, actually the herbalist is going to be out there because they're going to be gathering things, so I'll probably put their house out there somewhere along with their actual little hut to go gathering around in the forest, whereas the smithy will probably end up down here. So I'll have, I mean, I'm putting a house down here next to the kitchen there, so it keeps them close to their job, and then I'll put a house down here with a smithy, so it keeps them close to their job as well. But, well, that's all for another episode.